Hello, I am Bentham and welcome back to Factorio Railworld, where in the previous episode we returned from a journey around the Great Lake. We got halfway around with the radar train and we managed to cover the entire first half of the rail network around the lake with radars. And we're going to leave that for now, come back to the main base and get some work done here, because there have been quite a few developments while we've been away. We had the stone supply run out and we had Iron Outpost 1 finally run out of ore. So we've sort of temporarily sorted the stone situation by setting up a mining operation where Iron Outpost 1 used to be. We've got a couple of trains working on that, sending it to the main base and to the midpoint, and that will keep that going for a decent while we can sort out the Iron Outpost. So that's what we're going to be doing today. We're going to set up Iron Outpost 3 after working out exactly where we're going to put it. But before we do that, we'll do a bit of cleanup from our journey. The radar train has ended up with all sorts of random bits of stuff in it, so we'll just empty that out and get that put back into the main system. Loads of wooden things as well. We also have a train just loaded completely with wood that we brought in from the midpoint that we're going to have to work out how we clear out. And I suspect that we will need to do a bit of messing about to make sure there's enough room for all that, because we've got like 2 full cargo wagons of it as it is, and I've not really been paying much attention to like the storage situation in the main base for a while. In fact, I've ignored it pretty much entirely for probably over a dozen episodes, and as it currently stands, all we have are 2 storage chests, just sat like in a random point in the middle of the base, which was never really supposed to deal with any sort of large deposits like 2 trains full of wood and random other gubbins. But yes, we checked up on the mega train and we found out it was now fully loaded with destroyer drones. It's taken a very long time for it to build up, but we finally have a full 15 stacks of them in there, which should be more than enough to deal with any sort of number of biters that are ever thrown at us. And I also did a bit of tweaking on the requested chests there, because they were requesting like 500 each, so it would take like however much time it's taken so far to build up that supply, it would take as much time to fill those chests as well. So we limited it to just like 1 stack each, because it's not that urgent, and I doubt there's ever going to be a time where we return with the mega train and it needs loading with a full 15 stacks of them. That'd be a bit crazy. So very soon that system will finish and it will actually like get a chance to shut down and build up for a while, which will be nice. We'll probably increase the capacity of like the output chest for the system and stuff like that, just to sort of allow that to keep going. And it'll be nice and convenient that we'll finally be able to just like come into the main base and grab some bots from there. Because at the moment, with it always immediately going into request chests for the mega train, we've never been able to actually request them and receive more than like every other one that occasionally gets produced. But anyway, we're sorting out the storage chests. The 2 of them have been left for far too long, with all sorts of random bits and bobs being loaded into them, and I'm finally sort of just clearing it all up, because there's all sorts of stupid things. There's loads of belts, miners, modules, tons of ammo, because we've ended up messing that up. That's partially because of the situation with the midpoint, where we accidentally got a bunch of extra ammo being produced, but we can easily put a lot of this stuff just into the respective inserters and stuff like that and sort it that way. A couple of the bits of ammo we have to sort of load into the locked off slots of the storage chest, just to be able to get them out of the way. But we can definitely clear things up a lot. There's all like power poles and every different kind of logistics chest, and there's also like nearly a full stack of wooden chests and of steel chests. There's signals in there, and I don't even know why there would be signals in there, because I always have like a few signals on me. Just in case I want to do a bit of like rail building. I don't know why I would have dumped any of them. But yeah, we can pretty much clear away the entire contents of it. The storage chests are only really supposed to store stuff temporarily. Like if there's something that I have too much of at one point, but later on I need to request some, then that's sort of what it's for. And that does work. Like with there were no extra plates in there, because whenever I dump some plates, it's not long before I turn up in the base needing some more of them again. But there was even a stack of rockets in there. Like, when have I discarded some rockets? I've never had rockets on me. Like, I've got a stack in my hotbar. Actually, that's a point. I think those are the explosive ones, and it was the standard ones. So perhaps at one point I was holding a stack of each, and then I decided to get rid of the standard ones or something like that. In which case, I don't know why I didn't just go to the respective chests and load them that way. But we can get it cleared up to like less than 1 row of stuff. Like we've got each kind of logistics chest I've just kept there because it's quite nicely arranged, and there's like a tank and some other stuff. And then the rest of the space is entirely going to be for wood, which suggests we need to do something about that. We shouldn't really just have like multiple storage chests full of wood. We'll need to work that out, but like there were only 2 storage chests. We've now increased it to 3, so we have the capacity to fill those up. And the only thing at the moment that uses wood is the backup power system, and even then it doesn't actually really do that. It just sits there. It might occasionally request one, because one snuck through the system. It's using a sort of crazy system of like inserters constantly holding the wood back from progressing along the line. And then if the power fails, the inserters slow down so the wood can get past, and it can get into some steam engines and then have those kick in to help with the power issues. But it's a pretty rubbish system, really. It's got a slow reaction time, and it doesn't actually provide that much extra power and stuff like that. So, like, the wood is pretty much useless. It's occasionally used for power poles and chests, but we usually just craft those ourselves anyway, so it really makes no difference. I check up on the backup power system. Nothing's going on with it. One of the burner inserters ran out of power because whenever a bit of wood comes along, the other one gets it first, and so every time it's gone for it, it's used a tiny bit of power until it's eventually shut down. But yeah, at this point, that's a completely pointless thing. There have been no power issues for a very long time. It was only back when the factory was working a lot harder than it currently is, and it might be a while yet before it has to do any particularly difficult work again. Though I've got some stuff in the pipeline that might give it something to do. But we've pretty much cleared it away now. A couple of bits of modules and random stuff we're clearing up. But like half of the stuff that was in the chests I've just kept on me because it's actually convenient. Like some extra mining drills and things like that. That's pretty useful. But it is time to start work on our new iron outpost. So I will hop on board one of the spare trains. We've ended up swapping them though. I think we ended up with the spare trains from the stone deposit working on... Actually, I don't know. Maybe it's the stone trains getting stone from the iron outpost, and these are the iron trains, and maybe it's the other way around, and these were the ones getting stone. And the ones getting iron have gone back to their old station to move stone around instead. But we'll move it onto a new little branch on the end here. And we're going to start extending our network in a direction we were always planning on doing. Also, interesting note there's a couple of bits of pipes that I apparently missed from back when Oil Outpost 2, I think, was in this location. It actually got destroyed by biters. One of the rare cases where biters blew up actual rails. Usually they ignore them, just go for the machinery. But in this particular case, I think they were attempting to set up a colony, and so were destroying literally everything. So they had the room to work. I think that's how. I don't actually know how that works because usually I don't have that much trouble with the biters. But the interesting thing was, I think I didn't know about the attack. I found out about it later on, and I'd completely missed the fact that it had taken place. Until I went and investigated why, like, the Iron 2 train, or the Oil 2 train, was just sat in the station not doing anything. But anyway, we've started extending our network to the west, which was always the plan. It was always supposed to be this central trunk going westward, and then random branches going off north and south to grab different deposits. But for some reason I went north instead, and I don't really know why, because this deposit here is actually really close to the network that was already in place, but for whatever reason I decided to instead go north and travel a fair bit further to get to the location of Iron Outpost 2. It was possibly because I knew about the architecture of the lake, and that it would make sense to sort of establish a bit of a front line and protect it and things like that. I'm not really sure, but we're now going to sort of fix that by taking the new deposit that is just a little bit further west of the circuit outpost and a little bit south. But yes, it was completely engulfed in trees, so we've had to make our way back to the main base to dump a bunch of trees into the system, making things even worse, but it shouldn't be enough to overload the third storage chest just yet anyway. And we'll make our way back. We've got the main deposit itself uncovered, but of course we need a bit of room for the rails and the loading infrastructure and things like that, so there'll be a bit more wood yet to unload. And possibly a bit more trouble with bots trying to load it into my inventory when there's no room left and stuff like that. But I take a quick look at it, work out where I want to put the actual station, and it seems to make the most sense to just put it just a little bit north of it, and we'll sort of have it hug the deposit just to make the sort of area that we have to defend a little bit smaller, rather than like have it a little bit more separate and have a larger space to cover. It's always good to have things as compressed as possible so that you your defensive system is a little bit more effective. And as it is, we're probably going to have very few attacks on here. I'm going to keep the usual situation of like taking out the biters before they even like start thinking about attacking deposits and things like that. They haven't actually attacked any radars yet, even, which is interesting. I was expecting that to have happened by now. But we start working out sort of how we're going to position the station, and it's been so long now since I've set up like another proper station here that I've sort of forgotten the dimensions that I use. Like I have a standard situation in towns of always having them like a certain length, but in this one, I probably didn't have any sort of standard system back when I was originally setting up like Iron Outpost 2 and things like that, because it's been such a long time. But we work out the length of a train and make it that long, and I realize that's actually really short. It looks really weird. So I decided later on that I should extend it and have it sort of... I give it enough capacity so that it can have a train with 4 cargo wagons in case we want to do that. Though if the update... if future updates do change the sizes of cargo wagons, there may never be any sort of reason to do that. And there's been a lot more discussion of that in the comments and things like that. And people talking about like other things being weird capacities. The main one being steel chests. The fact that a steel chest can carry more than like a cargo wagon, I think nearly 2 times as much, or maybe more than twice as much, is a bit crazy really, because it's a 1x1 structure. And people talk about, well, maybe we should have larger structures for for the larger chests. We can have a wooden chest stay the same, but then like what if an iron chest is 2x2? What if a steel chest is 3x3 and things like that? Like discussion of maybe like a warehouse structure and things like that. To sort of make a bit more sense and sort of fit scales better, because like there's a lot of things that don't make sense scale-wise. The fact that you can carry multiple hundreds of trains in your pocket is a good demonstration of that. But there has to be, like, it wouldn't make sense if literally everything could have insane amounts of capacity that like you'd only ever need one of any particular storage item. It'd be nice to have reason for there to be like a larger storage thing and stuff like that, rather than just being able to get an objectively better chest and things like that. Because like capacity is fine. I'd be fine with the wooden chest having a capacity of like 5 squares or something like that. Because as it is, I often use wooden chests for storage of stuff just because I want like 2 stacks of it and things like that. And I think that would make more sense, and then make the steel chest maybe like have 20 slots or something like that, or maybe 30. Have it match up with the train, or have it larger or something like that. And I think it would be okay if like storage vessels were larger than a 1x1 space and stuff like that. And it might lead to some more interesting builds, because I know there was some really interesting builds back when people were trying to find a super compact way to set up like a blue science, like little, like the smallest possible space that you could have that could generate blue science packs from like the basic plates and stuff like that. And someone came up with this brilliant design which beat everyone else's like by it was only a few squares, but the vital difference to it was that the storage item used was a rail car. Like a cargo wagon just sat in the middle of the outpost, and that actually made it like the smallest it could be relative to other stuff, because every assembler could go into or out of that one cargo wagon with its different things, and you could set up filters and stuff, and that was genius. That was quite cool. I should have built it myself at some point, just so I could watch it being cool and stuff like that. But there's also some ingenious things you can do when you have weird storage solutions like that. But anyway, we've set up fully our branch of the network for Iron Outpost 3, and we'll start putting in like all the extra infrastructure, the power lines, and of course the lights, so we can well, not so I can, so that you can see what's going on at night and things like that. I mean, we do have the night vision goggles, but it always helps to have some lights around for sort of sunrise and sunset and things like that. Setting up all of the signals, and it's a lot easier than it is in like towns where there's like 9 for each end of this. There's just 4 for this one, a couple of extra bits for the loops themselves. And then we will put in the names of the stations, Iron Outpost 3, and then we'll have Iron Outpost 3.1 up at the top to sort of serve the same purpose as Iron Outpost 2.1 of a place that we can park without disrupting the operation of the deposit. It's not as important as in Iron Outpost 2, where we have like the other end of the Great Lake rail loop going through there. But we'll start setting up our loading system. 10 wooden chests, and like there it is with me using wooden chests rather than steel ones, because you just don't need steel ones. Like a full set of wooden chests is more than enough to like fully load 2 trains consecutively, so that's fine. There's no reason to sort of go any more with that, and I'd be fine if they had 5 stacks. Maybe I'd go for like the one with 10 stacks if things didn't seem like they were working, but I imagine it would be fine. And it does seem like the developers at the moment are wanting like a lot more capacity and everything when it's just not needed. It's not a problem. It might just be sort of the particular, because they did say they were sort of playing in a particular factory. It might be that like things just worked out with their map generation or something like that, that they needed extra capacity for things to work a lot better in that particular situation. But I think it, like in my factories at least, it's never a problem. It depends on your map generation settings and things like that. But I've talked enough about that. We're in the middle of setting up Iron Outpost 3, which should serve us for a good long while. It should. I imagine it'll be going when the series ends, though of course I have no idea when that will happen. And I probably said at some point that Iron Outpost 1 would last till the series ends, or maybe Iron Outpost 2, because I wouldn't be surprised at this point if Iron Outpost 2 finished at like not too far from now. For a while now we've had miners set up on the entire deposit because it's made sense, and I can see it running out within our lifetime, I guess. Within the series' lifetime, I guess. But we made our way back to the main base to unload a bunch more wood that we've got from setting up the rail infrastructure and things like that. And this ends up like overloading the system. Even though we started the episode with 2 storage chests and we like cleared it out a bit and like emptied out a bunch of random bits, we've still ended up with like running out of capacity for even 3 chests, so I've had to put in a 4th. I don't know if I've done it yet, but at some point in the episode I put in a 4th one to deal with the extra wood, which is enough to hold it, but we'll have to find some better situation for that. We'll have to just get some requested chests somewhere for it to clear it away, because we should only really have 1 storage chest. Like if the factory is working well, there should only be 1, and everything should be in either providers or requesters or whatever. Well, actually, nothing should be in... Well, nothing should be in providers, I guess. Nothing should be in active providers and stuff like that. But anyway, we sent one of the trains off to the new Iron Outpost, but before I set off myself, I'm going to sort out the stone. We set this up at the end of last episode to try and mine things as quickly as possible. Now that it's made a bit of progress, it probably makes sense to rearrange things a bit and try and get it going a little bit faster now that the sort of size and shape and everything has changed. So I don't know if we got that many more miners running. Well, we have more at this point, but quite a few of them have like less than 100 stone left to mine, but we get it all connected up and things are running nicely. It's going onto the belt well, and already one of them has run out, and we like as we look around, there's 1 or 2 more that are already looking close to finishing, and we even start rearranging it again just to try and get a little bit more mining speed out of it. Try and get this cleared away as quickly as possible, because now that we have Iron Outpost 3 pretty much finished, we want to be looking at getting Stone Outpost 2, I guess it is, sorted out pretty soon as well. So we've ended up with 8 miners, which is not that much more than before, but I think it's helped, and it might be a sort of better positioning for long-term operation of the remaining miners anyway. But we'll hop on board another train, take it over to Iron Outpost 3, because of course we're going to have 2, one of them going to the main base and one of them going to the circuit outpost, which is ridiculously close at this point, though I guess not as close as Iron Outpost 1 was to the main base, but still is pretty convenient. And we shouldn't have too much trouble with throughput, and this will be it'll be a lot more reliable, I guess, in Iron Outpost 2 in that way, because of how far Iron Outpost 2 actually has to travel to get things delivered. But we get our first column in place. Everything's going well. The belt is being loaded nicely, but not quite enough for the miners to build up. So we'll probably see about getting we'll get another column in place, and that should get the belt more fully loaded, which is sort of what we're looking for. We want it to we don't want this this end to be the cause of any issues with throughput and things like that. So we get a second column in place. Which should be more than enough. I mean, things have been running all right as it is off Iron Outpost 2, but if we get any more production going, then we'll want to be making use of this. So we want to make sure that it is in good health. So we start sorting out a sort of belt balancing system. I try and just cheat and just go onto the side of it, but that doesn't work well, and I should just put a proper one in, really. For the moment, I just put a proper merging system in, and that is, I just put a belt balancer on one of the columns, because that should be enough to sort of, I think, balance both. Like, if the belts load up, then it should cause them to both be balanced, I think. Get efficiency modules and everything, of course, because we are quite close to biters relative to other places with where we are. You can see them on the radar, and I'll probably have to go out fairly soon and sort of push them back a bit. They have been advancing a little bit inside pollution range, not pollution range, inside radar range. Pollution range they are very far away from because of how well things have been going here. But we have come to the end for today. In the next episode, we'll set these trains off going, and we will start working on a new stone deposit, and then we'll go from there and start seeing if we can do some more work around the lake railway. But with that, I shall say goodbye. Thank you for watching, and I shall see you next time.